Showing a list of items to the user is a very much important use case in almost any development you see. In React Native, it's very simple using the map method. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how do you show a list of data to the user in a very simple way. If you're ready, let's get this thing started. What are people awesome? So React Native lists are again a very important and also the most used and frequently asked questions that is actually coming up every now and then. Now with respect to React.js, again when we saw about the list views or lists in React.js, we handle the same thing there as well. But with also React Native, there is no specific method that's actually applicable where you can just throw in your list items and it's going to show to the user. Rather, you are actually going to make use of the inbuilt map method, and this is actually a simple conversion that is actually happening inside the React Native core, and we are actually going to show the user whatever the user wants to see using the map only. You can load it however you want to and create whatever you want to, and just the map will automatically take care of just doing simple iteration on top of your code, and it's just show it to the user. Now, there's another important question that people ask me: isn't there any simple method to actually show the list to the user? The answer is it is not, and the main reason being that there is no one way to actually show a list to the user. You might find a list of items as a list, and I might find a list of images as a list. So in that case, how do you show the user multiple different UI styles with just one simple class or a component, which is not possible, and that's why the map method is going to do a lot of work for us. Awesome. So time to create our first class. Let's call it the class app because that's what is going to be the default one. I don't want to play around with that. Let's do class extends, the usual one, component, and we are very much ready to go and jump in and start doing our work here. So we're going to be doing the class app extends component, and we also have to do a simple return, render and return here as usual, and we have a return. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, and the return is going to have the first one, which is going to be a simple view. Let's create the view again, as I've actually imported in the line 2, and we are going to be done with this. So it's simple view is going to be returned, and the application is also going to run, so that's not a problem. Awesome, the application is running again. Now the time to look at our first one, which is to load some element as a sample in a simple state variable. How do you use something as a simple state variable? Just do some variable called state, and you're going to be making use of the first variable, which is nothing but the let's call it something like this. Let me call it an IDs. Maybe that's what is popping in my head. So let's call it IDs, and let's give it say an age, or okay, age is going to be 22, and why is it okay 22, and name is going to be, I don't know, ABC, something like that. Okay, we're just going to replicate this up. We're just going to copy paste that and create multiple values as much as possible. Let's call it something like this, st, and something like that. Okay, like I told you, the React Native does not care how you receive your state, how you receive your variable, how you receive a list. All it cares is that you properly render that in your application, which is again possible making use of the first method, which is called as the map method, which is simple data structure method. It's going to convert whatever element that you have into a simple key and value pair. The key again is going to be the list of elements that you have, which is nothing but this one here. This is actually considered as a dict by itself, 1 2 3 dict values, and you're going to be showing that to the user. So how is that possible? First thing is to make sure that this dot state method and call the IDs and apply the map on top of that. Now the list items are going to be present, so let me call the list items, and the value, or let me call it the count of the value. So that is going to be the two important ones which are actually going to show the user this value. So make sure that your map items are properly done, make use of the shorthand notations clearly, don't mess that thing up. So this is how the shorthand notation is going to be, and you're going to create the method here. So this method is now going to return or render our first text. This will not have a semicolon. So you're going to first return our text to the user. The text is going to be as simple saying that I want you to return list items dot the name of the item. So this is how you're going to do that. Now this is a shorthand syntaxes, or the syntax followed in the React.js itself, and that's very much applicable for React Native again. So make sure to go watch that series of videos and come back here, because these are very basics of how React.js and React Native work, and I'm not going to cover that in this video. So React, we're just going to do the text here, and the next part is to actually, let's say, render my age here. Now it's going to throw an error saying that, let's see, wait, let's for it. Okay, it's saying that you cannot render multiple values or multiple elements inside the same map method. So why is that happening is because React assumes, React.js or React itself wants only one element to be coming out of any method. So this map method is assuming that there's going to be only one method coming out, and we can actually make that possible by making use of an empty fragment, which is going to be saying that just let it be a placeholder. Let just give us a placeholder so to return multiple values, and this is going to be the work for us. Now you can also say that this is at the element count. So just for the sake of printing, I'm just going to do that, and we're going to say count is equal to, and this is the count. Should be fine, right? Awesome. So we have rendered the element count as well. Okay, this is how awesome it's showing up. Each silent list should have only a unique key prop, and let's not worry about that at this point, because it's just saying it's just making sure that we have a key value. Just a warning, do not have to worry about this. I'll tell you guys about why that in the previous or next video. I'll tell you guys why that happened, but for now, just we have printed the values that we wanted to be printed in the form of a list. Now it's just going to be a matter of how exactly are we going to style the entire thing out. Now when you have a fragment like this, an empty fragment, you cannot style the entire thing out, and that's why you're going to make use of the next simple view. Is going to be the touchable opacity. Now touchable opacity is again a simple button like one which can be clickable. It's going to change the opacity when you click on that. It's going to give a little bit of a, say, boundary to this, and you can see that happening. Okay, so it's simple like this. Can you see that? So this is going to be happening when you do that. Now you can just style the touchable opacity by creating a simple style sheet. Let's create a simple style again here, and create the style for our touchable opacity. Now I can create a simple style for, let me call it as first one is going to be, maybe I'll call it as touchable opacity, so that it's easy for me to do. I'll give it a, say, padding of 10 probably, and also maybe some background color. Let me give it a color of blue. I don't know, blue is going to be too much. Let me give some value, D45654. I don't know, will it work? Let's see. It's not working. Let me give something possible that's going to be possible. 9F, maybe 691. Okay, we gave the color, but we didn't give the style property back here. Right? Let me give some color like this. Let me give a color here, something that's applicable, D634, something like that. Some 5-digit number. Let's hope that's possible, and it's not look too bad. And let's align the items. Maybe align items is also a property with the center. These are properties that I want to give to the touchable opacity. Now, forget comma. Time to give our touchable opacity a style, like we saw in the previous video. Touchable is going to have a style of style.touchable opacity. Now save this up. Come back here. Oh, it's good, but it's just looking like one simple one. Let's give it a margin also. The margin is going to be outside the boundary, so let's give a margin of 10. Let's see how this looks now. Much better, much better. Just click this up, this one up, and this one up. Time to also give a simple style for our text view. Text view, let me call it a text view, and I'll just give it a color that's important for me. white, and let me give the text view that color. Style is equal to copy this up, paste this up everywhere, and we are very much done with this video. Awesome, the ID is just changed and it's working clearly and very much as well. And that's it for the list view tutorial video. So let me meet you in the next video. Probably you guys have understood everything right here. We did a map, we did showed it to the user, we made use of an empty fragment first, but to make sure that we could actually have some styling attribute associated with the container or the external wrapper or the fragment. We made sure that we had something like a touchable opacity that should make sure that it'll actually nothing but a simple which will actually act as a button, and when user clicks that, it's going to give that effect of the animation of that opacity change in the animation. So that's what the use of touchable opacity. You can make use of other applicable styles as well, views as well. So that's the entire video again here. Make sure that you don't make the mistakes of loading too many values in the map. It's going to be really costly. Make sure that you optimize that before you load it in the map. And let me meet you in the next video. Until then, Bharat Wizard, have a super awesome day. Make something happen.